All right, so what you were saying, Zoro, you were saying some shit before this nigga got explained.
Yeah, what the fuck I was saying. I think I was saying, what do you got, Bebop or Champloo? So shit in the comment section. And just know that if you choose Champloo, you're wrong. But okay, go ahead.
Definitely not right.
No, it's hard. It's hard to choose between.
I go Champloo over.
I go Champloo.
I go Champloo over.
Objectively, you're wrong on every facet. But go ahead.
Like, listen, like it's. I thought about this too, and it's really hard because the same person produced both.
Yeah, both of them exactly.
And the music is crazy. Both of them are different but the same. Like the soundtrack for Bebop is way different than the soundtrack for Champloo. But both of them shits are extraordinary.
Look at I just want to let you know Bebop is getting slayed. Like there's only one right answer in Champloo. Okay, here's the thing.
Look, it doesn't matter popularity. Listen, not popularity doesn't matter.
Listen, here's the thing though.
It's hard to choose though.
If you want to talk about music, I can give you that's a push. If you want to talk about music, I'll give you that's a push.
No. I can
go step by step and explain why Bebop is better in terms of just not only just the music, but on many other respects. I mean, yes, Bebop was first. That's one thing. And you have to understand that Champloo just basically copied the same formula that was successful in Bebop and just made it to a different kind of setting with different music. And it was kind of just wasn't as original as the first because it was the second fucking iteration of it. That's number one. Number two, if you look at the main cast, are you going to really tell me that Fu is as good as any of the fucking main cast of Bebop?
Here we go again, dude.
Fu's not a terrible character, though.
Useless ass Fu, who's
only... Here's the thing. Wait, time out. All right, wait, time out. You can't wait. No. See, Zoro, this is what's wrong with a lot of niggas in the community where they're like, oh, they don't take shit into the right context, right? Here's the thing. You can't be like Fu is a useless character in the same context you can say that for Sakura, because Fu is not a samurai. Fu is not a ninja.
I'm not talking about Sakura.
Well, you're basically saying that Fu is useless, did you not? You said Fu is useless. You on multiple occasions. You on multiple occasions said Fu is a useless character, and that she doesn't compare to the other two characters. First of all, she's not. First of all, she's not due to the fact that she was not raised the same way Mugen was raised.
I'm not saying that she was
raised as a samurai.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the reason. Here's the main reason why Fu is not a useless character. There would be no story without Fu.
Exactly.
I mean, you could say that about literally. If it wasn't for Fu, let's just say a fucking dog.
No.
She brought the characters together. I get that, but that doesn't make her a good character. Or you.
But she was also the character that kept them together.
Here's the reason.
Let's understand that the main plot of the Samurai Smelling of Sunflowers had a very, in my opinion, a very abrupt and unsatisfying ending. At least for me.
Now that shit was satisfying to me.
I never found it satisfying. I found it incredibly satisfying.
I found it very satisfying.
So here's the thing.
Here's why I found it. Let me say two things.
I really do.
And then you could go, Jouten.
Okay.
First, I'm not saying if Fu wasn't in the story, there would be no story in a general sense. I mean in a very specific sense. She's the impetus for the character development of both Mugen and Jean. Without her, not only is there no story, like there's no narrative, but there is no spark for the character development of Mugen and Jean, which is actually very interesting because generally in something like in the shonen type, characters have their own internal motivation for their character development. But in this sense, for Mugen and Jean, the motivation for their character development is actually external to them. So that's actually a very interesting thing that I would have never thought about if you hadn't brought that up.
I think you're giving too much credit to Fu for her pushing the characters in terms of their development.
But she did though.
I felt like their development was.
She did.
I think a lot like Bebop. You have to understand, Champloo is a lot like Bebop. Champloo is a lot like Bebop in the sense that what defines their character isn't necessarily their development going forward. It's what made them who they are in their past, and their past catching up with them. With Jin, it's him killing his master and his dojo, and him kind of regaining his honor. And for Mugen, it was the people that he was spent his early days with, and his backstory with the woman that he left, and him kind of. Resolve it.
Wait, time out. What did you say? Wait, time out. What did you just say? The Mugen with the woman that he left?
Yeah, with the backstory with his.
Do you not remember that bitch betrayed all of them?
I understand that, but those characters mean more to Mugen, I think, overall in the grand scheme of things.
Okay. That's number one. First of all, let me tell you why you are completely wrong and objectively wrong on why
fuck you, Zoro.
Why Bebop's ending wasn't satisfactory. Okay, Because listen, I'm not saying not Champloo. I'm not saying Bebop is trash. No way. I'm not saying that at all. I just prefer. I just want people to understand this in general. I just prefer Champloo more than Bebop. But here's something that Bebop did that Champloo didn't do. Bebop had a conclusive ending that came to an end, and that's it. You understood what happened. When you look at Bebop, it was still open-ended towards the ending.
That's true.
I don't understand how you can say Bebop wasn't satisfying. I mean, Champloo wasn't satisfying when Bebop had an open ending.
Because something is open-ended, therefore it's not satisfying. Excuse me, Code Geass.
Well, I mean, in this particular instance, it wasn't satisfying. But that's only because of Spike Spiegel's personal story. Like the thing that's interesting about Bebop is that Spike Spiegel's story is the thing that ties everything together. Right? Like it's his personal narrative that sort of is the vortex of the narrative of every other character. That's why his story is the most important in the series, and that's why his story is the one that concludes the series. And so I think that it's not that it was bad, but it was somewhat unsatisfying.
Right.
It wasn't a bad ending, right?
And going back,
this is highly regarded. Even people who prefer Champloo over Bebop would say that Bebop's ending is one of the best endings probably in anime history.
Here's the thing, though. Here's a funny.
I don't understand how you can. I don't understand.
Here's a funny thing. Here's a funny thing. Go ahead. I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
The whole theme about Bebop and what really the focal point of what makes the series great is the whole theme about your past catching up to you. This constant speeches about it. This constant a discussion about it. Spike even gives the whole speech to Faye before he leaves for the final fight against Vicious about, you can't run away from your past. It was his whole speech about his eye and all that bullshit.
Okay.
And the amount, everything that happened at the end of the series with the fight with Vicious, it was a perfect amalgamation of the fact that, yes, it wasn't what a traditional ending would be, where the good guy comes out victorious and there's a great meeting in between all the characters and everyone's happy and we move on right into the sunset. Yes, it didn't have that, but it was perfectly real in the sense that that's exactly what Spike had to go through this. He had to deal with Vicious. This was something he had to do, and it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but that doesn't mean it's a bad ending.
Nobody said it was a bad ending, though. Nobody said it was a bad ending.
But
here's the thing. What I was arguing is
more ridiculous is the fact that I love Mugen. He's probably my favorite character in Champloo, but the motherfucker survived shit that. I mean, if you want to talk about Shin level bullshit, I mean, explosions from point blank range, getting stabbed in the chest, like he survived shit he should not have survived.
And you trying to tell me Spike Spiegel hasn't either?
They popped out in the regard of the.
Here's you know what? That's another interesting point. Like you guys are raising some interesting ass points that I never thought about. Like I think to a certain extent that's true, but I think the whole part about Spike going through these near-death experiences is that it's a transcendent experience, right? Like
you mean Mugen?
Mugen, right? Yeah, Mugen. Sorry, like Mugen's near-death experience was almost like a religious experience. Like he was almost like transcending, which is odd because he's the one who's like the most feral.
The most savage, yeah.
Right, the most savage.
Like I said before, that's just copying from Bebop because Spike had the very same experiences. In episode 5 when he got blown out of the church. Listen.
I'll say this.
There are a lot of
between the two. I'll say this though. Between the two series, there is no scene more powerful than when it looks like Mugen is about to die and that song plays. Like that shit. Like it's like a religious experience. Like that. That's not the same shit Spike had. That's not. Let me say.
Episode 5. I think episode 5 is one of the best.
Let me say a couple things too. Okay?
If you rewatch that Greenbird scene and hear the music.
Let me say a couple things that. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Let me say a couple things.
You might not remember it. It might have been a while since you actually watched it, but rewatch that scene. I guarantee you would say it's just as
let Jouten talk Zoro. Yeah, dude. What's the fun?
Let me say a couple things. Okay, so now, objectively speaking, right? Remember I told you I was gonna rewatch Bebop, right? I mean not Bebop, Bebop and Champloo. I rewatched Champloo straight through, mad fast. It was greatness, just as I remember. Now I rewatched Bebop.
Right.
There's a couple of things that bothered me about Bebop, watching it right after Champloo, and one of those things was the dialogue. Like the dialogue in Bebop is nowhere near as good as the dialogue in Champloo. I feel like the Champloo dialogue is so much more surreal. It feels more realistic. Like for example, Mugen, even though Mugen and Spike have the same voice actor, Mugen feels like a lot more of a character that is based on his past than Spike is. And not only was the dialogue superior in Champloo, if you watch them side by side, but also the voice acting. For example, when you
because Bebop was one of C. Bloom's first voice acting jobs.
No. I'm not talking about main cast. Main cast is not even fair because they're both superb. I'm talking about when you get these irrelevant ass niggas that are only show up for one episode. Like the way Champloo had them voice acted was far superior to Bebop. Like for example, in the episode where they were chasing what's the dog's name again?
Oh fuck.
D2. What's the dog's name again? The dog's name from Bebop.
Ein. That's his name.
Okay, Ein. Right. There was a scene multiple scenes where the guy's chasing Ein, like the truck. No, not him. The truck drivers, right?
Right.
They were cringy as fuck. With the voice acting. Like it was terrible. But then
Ed was a terrible character.
Well, it was a different time. You have to understand. In the 90s, voice acting wasn't as highly regarded as you have to understand. I'm not gonna.
Okay, I guess
voice acting is a very small part of what makes these series great. I mean, you're splitting hairs at this point.
No, because
there's still more things. There's still more things I want to also talk to you about. Like, and then also I brought up the conclusive ending thing. Like, you can't, you can't be like, well, this ending wasn't satisfying for me personally when the series you're defending had an open-ended.
Listen, if you want to talk about endings, I'd love to talk about endings because Mugen and Jean fought someone that was introduced like the last couple of episodes, and it was a great fight, like visually speaking.
It was not just visually, but philosophically. Like that shit was like, that fight is crazy. And I always say this too. Like if you watch my videos, I always say that fights are never about fights. Fights in manga and anime are always about underlying ideological conflicts. And in this case, that fight was crazy because it brought a close and a sense of resolution and a sense of resolve to something. Like it's the series starts off where they're like, listen, we just want to find the samurai. And then by the end, it transforms into some shit like, no, we gotta fight this nigga because fighting him and beating him means something about us. It means something about our humanity. And resolving that chapter means that we've resolved some conflicts in our past. And that shit was great. Like even when Jean was fighting him, in the move he had to use was the move from his master that he had killed. Like that whole thing like a full circle was crazy.
Not only that, like the scenes don't get me wrong, scenes in Bebop are amazing, but the scenes in Champloo are so much more powerful. I mean, I'm stating this only from my personal experience, like personally for me, than Bebop. For example, I forgot what episode it is, but it's the episode that Gin fights the assassin lady, the one that pretended to be their friend for a couple of days, and then she goes in and she was hired to kill them. After he gets destroyed by her and falls off the bridge, right, and he's found by this random guy, and he goes through this experience with this man, and he learns how to defeat her. But one of the lines he says is so absolutely amazing that it trumps everything that in Bebop that's like in that same retrospect or feel. And what he said to this man was, you cook a man a fish and you feed him for a day. You teach a man how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
Saying, though.
I know, but like
that's a pretty old.
That's true. But like the thing is, Bebop, even with that old saying, and that's a true life saying, Bebop never really came anything close to that.
There's some pretty philosophical.
Not only
there was some great lines.
Bebop came close to that. Like Bebop came really close to that, especially if you were to ask me what's the most iconic scenes from each series, I would tell you it's the death scene with Mugen and it's the scene with Spike. I can't remember. I think he went to that shaman.
The shaman. I was about to say the shaman is fucking
right. And the shaman was trying to tell him about his future, and he looks up and he says, "Every shooting star is another warrior who's died." And then the music space line comes on. Like that shit is crazy. Like that shit was crazy.
All right, so let me finish what I was gonna say. So in terms of that saying, the reason why I liked it is not the saying itself. It's what it means to Jin and his future. Because right there and then, he realized
the same thing you're saying about Gene is the same exact thing that Shamu was saying to Spike. Because when Spike, quote unquote, died,
it's not the same.
Because he was basically talking to Spike as though he was one of those shooting stars that was destined to fall eventually. It was kind of a foreshadowing to Spike's death at the end of the series.
No. But Mugen lived, and Mugen said Mugen lived.
Here's the difference.
Here's the thing that I think is that I need to address Zoro about before we continue, because I think it's fundamental to our differences.
Okay.
Zoro, I think you think that Champloo and Bebop are about the same thing, that they're both about their past. But I think I don't agree with that. And the reason why I don't agree is because I think Bebop is about their past, but
Champloo's about their future.
About the future.
Exactly.
It's about what happens once you get over your past. Like the characters in Bebop never got over their past. Like we don't know if Spike died or lived. Like
and Faye's a perfect example that she was never able to get over her past.
That's true too.
Right. The whole point of Bebop is that you can never really truly run away from your past, and that's why it was powerful. No matter how much you try,
But the thing with Champloo is the reason why I like Champloo more is Champloo's.
I mean, I don't understand. I've seen Champloo a bunch of times. I just don't see the
massive
progression that Mugen and Jin have changed over the series. I don't feel like
you don't see the progression.
Oh my god!
I don't see it to the degree, and I feel like any degree
there's no point. Like for example, Champloo literally is a series that the moral of the series is no matter how dark your past is, you can always change who you are. Because there's always going to be experiences through the people you meet and the experiences that you go through that change who you are. And there's one episode that perfectly states the whole overlining undertone of Champloo. And I forgot what episode it was, but it was the episode where there was a gatekeeper, right? And they know him as the most strict gatekeeper of all time, right? And this man is literally narrating the story of him meeting Mugen. And that story was a story from 30 years ago during his time. So that right there specifically takes Champloo's ideology as a whole and puts it into one episode. Because he also goes on to low-key state that meeting Mugen changed his life forever and for the greater.
Yep. And then he shows the book with the missing page.
With the missing page, exactly.
Like, right. I think Zoro, like, if you don't see the progression in Jin and Mugen and Fu...
I understand that they developed over the course of the series, but I think you're severely overestimating how much and how powerful it was.
I don't think so.
I don't feel it was that impactful.
Listen,
like you just like I mean like everything because Zoro and I we talked about it for like fucking 4 hours like 3 years ago and it was nauseating. Bro.
Don't get me wrong, I still put you like one of my top.
Ultimately, we came to the conclusion that you just couldn't stand food.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down to.
That's one aspect of it, but that's not the entire aspect of the series.
But I don't see Fu as a problem though. Like
I can't see how you would say Mugen didn't progress as a character.
I don't see Fu as a terrible character. I just don't think that she really provides any really interesting or more powerful. That she really plays an important role.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't agree with the fact that you say that she has such a great impact on the others that progress them forward.
But she does. She's the main reason why.
Like even in the episode where they split up.
That's not true.
Even in the episode where they split up, they still came back together because of Fu. That's the reason they came back together.
Like Fu is one of the main reasons why Mugen and Gin were able to.
I understand that she's the reason why they're together, you know, toward progressing towards a goal, but that doesn't make her a good character.
No. Here's the thing, Zoro. Like, listen. I think we have fun. I think we just have different views of what a good character is. Like, I think you think that a character has to have some character arc, they have to have some character development or some progression, or they have to
have some kind of purpose that I find useful to the story.
She's the quintessential character.
She's not the
quintessential character. You can have a Champloo. If you take Fu out of Champloo and you
how you okay, let me ask you this straight up. If you take Fu out of the story, what reason is there for Jin and Mugen to stay together?
Right, I agree that she brings them together, but you can literally insert any other character.
No. You're not getting what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Fu is the reason why they get together. I'm saying she's the reason why they stay together. That's a distinction.
Right, because they have to find the samurai that smells of sunflowers. That's
no. It's not
about it evolves. It evolves over time into more than that. They become friends.
Exactly.
That's the whole point.
Right.
But not only that, you can also kind of make the assumption that she kind of becomes like their moral compass. Because like when you look at Mugen and you look at Gin, they were literally at two opposite ends of the spectrum. Mugen was this savage who was very, very social and just very outgoing, where Gin was just someone who was haunted by his past because he murdered he didn't murder, he defended himself against his master. He wanted nothing to do pretty much with humanity, right? And Fu is this character that brings them together and changes their mentality. And at the end, you can see that. And this is why
crazy. It's crazy because it's not like Fu like has this magic wand and she just changes them. It's the experiences that they go through together. It's the connection that they create between Fu and Mugen and Gin. Like, it's like if you're making a dish and you need certain ingredients. Like, it's some dishes that if you don't have a certain ingredient, you don't got that dish. Like, if you make macaroni and cheese without cheese, you ain't making macaroni and cheese. And it's the same thing with Fu. Like, you cannot create that intense interpersonal connection between Jin and Mugen without Fu. She's like the nexus. She's like the conduit. Like, without her, not only is there no story, there is no reason for the interpersonal connection between Jin and Mugen. Like, if you remove her from the story and just add some random ass character, there's no reason why Jin and Mugen stay together.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we would never know because you wouldn't see where the random ass character went with it.
That's true too.
I mean, like I said,
here's the thing.
These two characters were kind of wandering and lost. They needed something to kind of push them forward.
And Fu was that character. Yeah, exactly.
So that particular role. And I understand what role she plays in the series, but that doesn't mean like she's an interesting character. That doesn't. I understand that she is the conduit. I get that.
I agree. She's not a very interesting character at all.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, but at the base of the story, you need Fu. I mean, ultimately, at the base of the story, you need Fu. You need her.
Okay. You need her. I can completely. I can concede that. All I'm saying is that she's not better than any of the four characters in Bebop. The main four.
I agree. But she doesn't need to be.
When I'm comparing Bebop versus Champloo, that's all I'm saying. That's
true.
But
here's the thing. Here's the thing that I slightly disagree with you about.
Okay.
Like, I agree that Fu is not better than any of the four characters in Bebop. I agree 100% with that. But for the story of Samurai Champloo to work, she doesn't need to be.
Exactly.
She doesn't need to be.
You can't base a whole series' greatness or non-greatness on just one character.
Two series, you have to compare characters.
No, you got to compare. Okay, that's literally one slight L for Bebop. Wow, big whoop.
It's not even an L because
one slight L.
No. It's not an L. It's not an L at all. It's not an L at all. And here's why: characters and stories fulfill certain roles. Like, you know, when you've made a great character, when someone can look at a character and say, "Damn, they were instrumental to the story." Like, I can't imagine this story without that character. That's the mark of a great character.
So let me ask you this question.
Characters have different roles and different functions, and their greatness is determined by how well they fulfill those functions.
Because I totally forgot there's actually fucking 4 characters in Bebop. I forgot about this nigga.
What?
How is yeah, like how do you see Ed better than Fu?
Listen, as far as Fu's role in the series, I understand that she's a quote unquote linchpin, but her main, as far as like entertaining the audience, was her. Would you agree with that? That's her main kind of like that role in terms of entertainment value.
Well, that kind of that. Well, here's the thing though, like that doesn't matter because your argument will get degraded by my argument when I say no. But here's the thing. Your argument can easily be degraded when I say, okay, Mugen and Gin also entertained the audience, and so did a bunch of irrelevant random niggas in the series.
Right, but Fu's main purpose, I mean, other than being the linchpin that you completely bring up, I get that, was that she was
not to entertain. No, she wasn't. Her main purpose. No.
Come on, bro. Her fucking reoccurring character was Fat Fu, where she fucking runs around 1,000 pounds. Oh, it's so funny. She's fat.
Okay, that's a stick. That's
bro.
That's a stick. Like,
but Zoro, here's what you don't understand.
I'm not saying that she's only a comedy relief character, but I would say that
no. I understand. I think I understand what you're saying, but here's why I disagree. Like, Fu isn't just the linchpin for Jin and Mugen. Like, she's the conduit. Like, it's only through her that they connect to each other.
When I say linchpin, I basically mean conduit. That's what I'm putting all of that in there. I get that she's all of that. I don't think that to the same degree you do in terms of how important she overall is to the both characters. I see what you're saying in terms of there. I see what you're saying in terms of her importance to both of those characters and getting them where they needed to go. I get you. I'll concede that. But I would say more than that, I think that her comedy and the fact that was kind of her role in the series is much more of a prominent than those other things, at least in my opinion.
Role in the series.
I don't think so.
Well, then we're just gonna have to disagree on that. But that's just what I'm saying.
Disagree.
And going back to my original point, I would say that Edward was kind of filled that same role for Bebop in terms of being the comedy.
Here's the thing, though. And I think that I don't mind disagreeing with you, but my issue here with your argument is that it seems like it stems from bias. Like you're not looking at this objectively. Like it comes from. And here's the thing. Here's the main problem. Another big issue. Here's another big issue.
Look, here's another big issue. One of your arguments was I like this scene and I felt more deep than any other series in Bebop.
But I didn't. But here's the thing.
That's a part of it.
And anything I've said.
But here's the thing, though. I didn't say Bebop. I didn't say that specific. Listen, I didn't say that specific scene made Bebop better.
Everyone's biased. What do you mean?
But the thing is,
am I so biased that I'm blind? I'm willing to concede.
If me and Uber were being completely biased, we would have gone a rampage like how Uber was with Kingdom. Like exactly. Yeah. That's what
I don't think Uber was being. I don't think Uber was being biased when he was talking about Kingdom. He was giving reasoning.
At the end of the day, most people
I'm just saying
would agree, and this is gonna be a little bit unconstructive here, so excuse me for being a little savage. But at the end of the day, most people will say Outlaw Star over Bebop. So why are we even?
Oh no!
Based on what are you saying?
No.
Outlaw Star over Bebop.
Are you saying that based on just like you're just thinking that through, or
no?
So like I like Outlaw Star.
We never heard
G-Star is my dude, but G-Star is my dude. But let's not crazy now.
Nah, then the character. That's a show where you could really say the characters are not as strong, and their character progression is not as strong as Bebop.
Of course. Of course. This is why I said.
Listen, like I don't understand like where you can bring this up. Like what?
This is the main reason why. This is the main reason why I said. This is the main
evidence to support that. I'm just saying that I think it's better.
This is the main reason why I said.
Even if more people liked Outlaw Star than Bebop, that doesn't mean shit.
That's the reason why I said
people like Transformers movies. Like
this is the reason why I said. Listen. Once again, this is the reason why I said it's unconstructive. Holy shit!
I know. It's not unconstructive to compare things.
You did say it was going to be unconstructive.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, come on, man. Like, come on, man. Listen, I know.
The only reason why I don't think it's unconstructive is because I think we both thought about it, and I've actually conceded some points, and I've actually given a little ground on Fu.
So I'm not talking about unconstructive with Bebop versus Champloo. I'm talking about Outlaw Star versus Bebop. My last comment.